will the virtuous Sangha, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp bồi khắp nhất thiết chúng sanh, thịnh chuyên diệu pháp luân giao đạo ngã môn, như há liêu sanh thoát tư ly khổ đạp lạc, tập chứng vô sanh. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one. Nam mô Sa Đan Thô Sư Chế Đô Ye Ở Lại Ở Đi San Miao San Pu Tô Xế. Nam mô Thầy Đắc Tha Tô Già Đà Già La Đê Tam Miệu Tam Bồ Đà Tòa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I am able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng sheng wei miao fa bai jian wan jian nam zao yi wo jin jian wen te shou chi yuan jie ru lai zhen shi yi. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Great Master Dieu Nga, Shifu, Venerable Left-Home people, and all good advisors, Emituofo. Chư Phật Bồ Tát, kính thưa Thanh Lương, Quốc sư, Sư phụ Tiến Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị thiện tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Chư Phật菩萨、经量大士、师父上人、各位持家人、各位善知识，Emituofo. Today is the 3rd of July, 2021. We are gathered here to continue discussing the prologue to the Avatamsaka Sutra written by Master Dieu. Okay, we are right at the beginning of that on slide number 7. Okay, all right. Thank you all for coming. Let's see, there's a question from the internet. Thank you very much.
Yes. A question from the internet. The person asks, what is casual ground?
Causal ground. Casual ground has a different connotation. Causal ground means something else. Casual ground is when you don't wear tuxedos. Okay. But causal ground is when you want to wear tuxedos at the proper times. Does it answer the question? No?
So it was causal ground, not casual ground.
Causal ground. Oh, that's different. In that case, I better give you a serious answer. Okay. What's a good answer for causal ground? Okay. It's Buddhist concept that's linked to cause and effect. Okay, Causal is adjective for cause. Okay, so causal ground is refers to the place where you plant the causes. Okay, because in Buddhism, when you develop your wisdom, it may have happened already to some of us. Huh? Since he's friends with young people. Huh? When you have wisdom, then you are keenly aware of cause and effect. Okay? Because you're not fooled by appearances. When you see something, okay, wisdom tells you that, helps you understand that it's the result, it's the effect of something else. So it's the effect of a prior cause. Okay? That's the nature of wisdom. Wisdom enables you to see that. Okay? And there, conversely speaking, therefore, when you have wisdom, you create the proper causes for you to reap the proper effects in the future. That's, in a nutshell, is what Buddhism is about. Okay? Nothing magical about it. Okay? So everything has to obey the universal law of cause and effect. Okay? Why do we have a mischievous boy roaming around the Buddha hall today? It's because in a prior life, you were all mischievous yourself. Okay? So now we have a boy roaming around and creating mischiefs to punish us. He's, looking for something to break, and he's fearless. He owns the Buddha hall. Okay, look at him. Yeah. All right. So going back to the concept of causal ground. Okay, causal ground is the place where you plant causes. Okay, so this refers to when you practice. When you engage in Buddhist practices, okay, you are creating karmas, okay? You hopefully are wise enough to create the proper karmas, okay? So that's what we all are supposed to do. We should plant the proper causes. For what? For happiness in a near term, all right? Because for the Westerners, we taught that we are free to engage in the pursuit of happiness and so forth, but we're not taught how to pursue happiness, right? Everyone talks like that. They talk, and no one tells us. It kills me is that they all tell us to pursue happiness, but no one ever tells us how to be happy. So we tell each other, you see, someone getting richer, we also want to make money, hoping we'll be happy. But what we don't know is rich people are extremely unhappy because they didn't plant the cause for happiness, right? They only plant the causes for getting rich. They plant the causes for getting powerful. They planted causes to have mischievous babies. They planted causes to get married, to find love. But when you ask them, what did you plant in terms of causes of happiness, no one really knows what are the proper causes for happiness. Agree? Well, you're still young, so give yourself time when you get to be my age or the abbot's age. Then what did I do my entire life? I'm still unhappy. Okay? So that's what happens. So Buddhism is the judicious planting of the proper causes for near-term, again, happiness. Yes? So you have better chance of being happy by being Buddhist. Daniel, is he there? Okay. All right. Never mind. So That's what the first part, causal. So you plant the causes, right? Now, second part is, when you plant causes, where do you plant it? Right? So it's very, very logical in a sense. You plant causes, like farming. You need to find a place where you put down the seeds so that eventually, with the proper knowledge, you will be able to have a good crop, good results, right? The idea here is that, where do you plant causes? So the concept is, you better know where to plant the proper causes. Because you try to grow something in an arid plot of land, you're not going to be happy. Okay, when you plant the seeds in infertile grounds, you're not going to get good crops, right? So therefore, part of the process is to choose the proper grounds, the proper environment, the proper place to plant the causes. So far, so good. That's wisdom. Okay? And so causal ground here basically refers to where you planted the causes. Okay? Or in general, what causes you did plant in the past. Okay? For you to get what you got today in terms of cultivation. Questions, comments? So you have to be careful. Let's see if he sticks his fingers in the fan, huh? If he has the blessings, he won't. If he doesn't, phew, one finger missing. See? Blessings. See that? Because if he didn't have to plant the proper blessing, he would probably stick his fingers in there. And because he didn't have, he planted the causes for unhappiness. So that the rest of his life, he has to get by with 9 fingers instead of 10. We wait till we get a little bit older, we kick you. Anyway, does it help to causal ground is that basically it's a Chinese elegant way, Buddhist way of saying, what did you plant and where did you plant it, if you really want to be more accurate, okay? Because it's very careful. You plant causes, then for example, in the past, Shakyamuni Buddha's disciples, he planted where? With the Buddhas himself, in many lifetimes. Okay, the Buddha, prior lives, because of his blessings, he was the kings throughout the various realms. Whether it's a king deer, whether it's a king monkey, there's a time where he was a monkey king, and one day the monkey king has 500 followers, disciples or people that follow him. One day the monkey king, decided, he saw a moon's reflection in a well. He went, wow, this moon is so beautiful. So he decided, let me go climb down the well and collect the moon and make it mine. Keep it for myself so that I can enjoy it anytime I feel like. So what did he do? He climbed on the well. And so he was first, he climbed over the inside the well, hanged on to the well, and then the next guy is, next monkey, his devoted citizen would follow him. So the next guy I don't remember exactly, probably Shariputra or Mahamogaliana. So the second monkey is one of those guys. And so the second monkey climbed down and hanged on to the king monkey's tail. And then the third guy would be one of those devoted disciples, hang on to the second monkey's tail, and so forth. Okay? So they all climb down, hanging on to the well, hanging on to the previous monkey's tail to try to catch the moon downstairs in the well. And guess what? The more of them climb down, upstairs, Shakyamuni Buddha, Monkey King, he's getting heavy. So he said, oh, what to do now? What to do now? And eventually, it was too heavy, so he gave up. He let go. So all of them drowned. All the monkey died. King and disciples and everything. Okay? What a stupid thing to do, right? You would say, right? However, it's a stupid thing to do. However, the plus side is that those monkeys have a history of being devoted, loyal to the king. So whether it's King Deer, King Monkey, King, elephant, and so forth, his followers, Shariputra, Moggabaliana, who else? I don't know. Ashnata Kandinya, and so forth, they all expressed their devotion and loyalty to their kings. And that's why they follow him lifetime after lifetime. They went to the hells together, they went to become elephants together, they went to become monkeys together, and cockroaches and so forth. So this devotion there, that loyalty there, carried through until they came back. Okay? And that's why Shakyamuni Buddha, when he became a Buddha, he helped them all become Buddhas himself. Right? So that's causal ground concept. These followers planted the causes for the great fruit at the proper place. They chose to plant at the field of blessings of Shakyamuni Buddha. See that? So all these people planted at the causal ground, meaning with Shakyamuni Buddha, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, so that when the Buddha became a Buddha, all of them would benefit from it. That's causal ground for you. All right? Does it help? So it's more than just intellect, more than just logic. That is, there's something in this concept where virtues matter. You do the right thing. You don't just calculate and only choose what's beneficial to you. But sometimes things like in the Asian cultures that we value, such as loyalty, such as filiality, such as respectfulness, such as truthfulness, such as incorruptibility, okay, such as righteousness, such as sticking to principles, okay, and so forth, okay. Those are the seeds for your happiness down the road. Okay, worldly people don't know that. Worldly people, we go to schools, universities, and only learn how to calculate in terms of profits, but we neglect the virtue side of the equation. That's why we cannot be happy. Okay? Happiness involves two balances. You plant the causes at the worldly side, intellectual side, educational side, as well as the virtue side. Okay? It has to be balanced. Without balance, you won't have happiness. You won't know happiness. Okay? All right. Going back to slide 7, we are discussing the cause and condition for arisal teaching. We talk about the Avatamsaka Sutra, the king of sutras, where it discusses the highest level wisdom available. Okay, this it tells you about the Dharma realm, the universe we live in. This is the Buddha's wisdom. It takes the Buddha's eye to be able to see this. Okay, through our space, through our time. Okay, so this teaching here is timeless. Okay, so that's why it represents the highest level wisdom in Buddhism for us. Why is it important to us? Because what we're doing is what we just talked about, causal grounds. We plant the causes of great wisdom, okay, in the field of Mahayana ground. Okay, so that's what we're doing. You need to plant the proper causes. You need to have the greatest seeds. So when we listen to this, when we evaluate and analyze this Avatamsaka Sutra, we are planting the highest qualities of seeds possible in terms of wisdom. Okay? All right. So this teaching here is the Buddha is teaching the Avatamsakas right now. Okay, it's being taught, being spoken continuously. Okay, here or everywhere in the universe. This is an inconceivable state. You might ask yourself, how come I don't hear it? Because you can't hear it, because you don't have enough blessings to be able to hear it. Okay, but so this sutra here transcends geography, transcends timelines. So that's why on bullet number 1 we say one place is all places. Okay, we don't discriminate. Okay, and one time is all times. Okay, it's continuously being spoken everywhere, all times. Okay, all right, and so that's why this and it takes and those who are able to see it, to hear it. It's because they have affinities with the planted blessings to be able to do that. Okay, and why is it being spoken? The sutra, because originally these Buddhas made vows. He says, "I become a Buddha is in order to help everyone else become Buddhas." Okay, not just my family, not just my loved ones, my friends, my acquaintances, but also my enemies, also everyone else, all living beings. Okay? So they made this vow after vows after vows. For example, my late Chinese master, YongHua, he made 18 great vows, okay? At a very young age, when he was like his teens. He says, Buddhism is what I want to do the rest of my life. Teach Buddhism, propagate Buddhism. Very early age, he made a commitment already, okay? And so he, at the age when he was a teenager, he made a vow. He says, I vow that in the future, I will save all animals before I become a Buddha. I vow to save that anyone who heard of my name, who seen my image, they will become a Buddha before I become a Buddha. So he made 18 of those great vows where he saved arhats before he become a Buddha. All pratika Buddhas have to become a Buddha before he becomes a Buddha. All bodhisattva has to become a Buddha before he becomes a Buddha. So he made these 18 great vows. Okay, so these beings, the great beings with great wisdom, okay, they make great vows after great vows after great vows. Great vows he refers to vast, endless vows. It has to be vast and endless, meaning that you cannot possibly accomplish it at all. And they're undaunted. They keep on making great vows like this. Take, for example, Ersto Bodhisattva. He made a vow that says, I will not become a Buddha unless all the hells are empty. Okay? That's called a great vow. Why is it a great vow? It's a great vow because the hells will never be empty. Either I go there, and then you go next in your generation, and then your children will go there in the next generation, so forth, so forth, so forth. They will never be empty. Guaranteed. Okay? And yet, Ersto Bodhisattva knows it full well. He says, no, I will not become a Buddha until all the hells are empty. So he may never become a Buddha. That's why he becomes a Buddha. See, smart people like you say, that's impossible, I cannot do this. That's illogical. Okay? It's because your mind has limits. That's why you cannot make great vows. You're only great to yourself. Okay? All right. So they made a lot of vows. A lot of bodhisattvas and great bodhisattvas made vows. They said, I will speak this sutra. Okay? As soon as I become a Buddha in the future, I will keep on speaking the sutra to all and everyone who is willing to listen to it. Okay? And number two, past conducts, meaning that once they made these vows, okay, as they transmigrate through the reincarnation wheel, go to the human realm, go into the God's realms and so forth, they try to fulfill these vows they made. That's called conducts. All right? So, for example, what's an example of past conduct? Example, they say, I make a vow to lecture on the Avatamsaka Sutra, right? And so they made those vows. As I vow that in the future, I will cultivate Buddhism and have enough wisdom to be able to lecture on the Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay, but I don't just want to lecture on Avatamsaka Sutra and just repeat and regurgitate and pleasurize from stuff. I want to lecture and add stuff to it, okay, so that this knowledge base gets bigger and broader and broader. That's the vow, okay? But since, imagine yourself making a vow like that, and you said, wait a minute, I can't lecture yet. It doesn't look like I can lecture like that the rest of my life. Anytime soon, like this lifetime or maybe the next 1,000 lifetimes. It's very unlikely. Huh? So what do? Because you made a vow like that. You say, if I make a vow like that, in the future, I will lecture on this sutra. But when I lecture on this sutra, what has to happen? I have to have people who come to listen to the lecture. Otherwise, what's the point of lecturing? And I have a place where I can lecture. Otherwise, it's a small place like this. How many people can sit in there? Okay? So they said, it's okay, so I will help others who are lecturing on a sutra. Okay? So you help first by whatever ways you can, and the first monk who can lecture, you can help, who would be willing to accept your help, would only be lecturing to 5 or 10 of you like today, okay? And then you get better and better as you get more blessing, you get to support greater monks, people with real wisdom, you see? So that's the conduct. Once you make a vow, you will, lifetime after lifetime, fulfill those vows, accomplish those vows. All right? So Buddhism is this continuing process of inching closer and closer to our goal of opening real wisdom. All right? Okay, and this sutra here is lectured for people with great potentials. Okay, meaning great potentials refers to bodhisattvas. Okay, bodhisattvas, really, folks, I'm sorry to tell you this. You don't qualify as great potentials. Is that clear enough? I know you think of yourselves as having great potential, but really, to the Buddhas, you don't have great potentials. Okay? I don't know how else to tell you. Okay? But if you truly have great potentials, okay, then these people with great potentials are actually on the way to Buddhahood. Okay, meaning the people with at the level of 10 dwellings. Okay, that's the first group. Okay, this will be explained later in the sutra, where they go into the dwellings and the conducts. The people next level of wisdom would be the 10 conducts, meaning these high level of samadhi. By the way, 10 dwellings. And then you graduate to 10 conduct samadhis. Then you graduate to the third group of 10 transferences. Okay, these are cool dudes, cool people. Okay, real wisdom. And the fourth group is the 10 grounds. These are enlightened people. Okay, and this is where it matters. Before that, the 1, 2, 3, we put up with you. Okay. Because we have no choice. It's like investing in children like that. You know, we have to put up with children like that, and then until you get the 10 grounds, you become enlightened. That's when we can really begin to teach you the good stuff. Okay, the significant stuff, not your childish stuff. And then after 10 grounds, you go into equal enlightenment. This is the one step away from Buddhahood. Number 6, wonderful enlightenment. Okay? So this sutra here is sharing with you the seeds for these people with great potential covered here. So far, so good? Meaning 1 to 3 is basically, we recognize that you do have the potential, okay? Okay, but the real great potential, again, is group number 4 and up. Those are real great potentials, okay? However, why do we bother with low level, like 10 dwellings, 10 conducts, 10 transferences? These are like a hierarchy, okay? These are statuses in our world, where if you're 10 dwellings, when you see the 10 conducts people, you have to bow to them. You have to pay your respects to them because they're higher status than you. Okay? And then when you get to, we need to invest in these people, the 10 dwellings, 10 conducts, 10 transferences. These are important names you need to know, especially in our small world. Small neck of the woods. This is where you should be trying to reach. Okay? To make it worthwhile. And then once you make this group, then they're important because you get to these groups, then their dharmas help you progress to the fourth group, 10 grounds or higher, a lot quicker than otherwise. Below that, it's just not much interest, not much hope. You know, like it's just like us waiting for mischievous boys to grow up so we can teach them the right things. You know, until then, not much you can do. Yeah? He'll march his own drum beat. You know? All right. Any questions? Next. There is also this track record in Buddhism, okay, where throughout the history of Buddhism, we establish a track record. Okay, the great teachers establish a track record. Okay, how? This Avatamsaka Sutra in particular is, or Buddhism and Buddhism in general, is the process of using provisional teaching, okay, in order to prepare you for certain teaching. These are the jargons you need to hear a little bit because these are important concepts, okay? Provisional teaching, what's provisional teaching? So in Chinese, truyền教, okay? The provisional teaching is to teach living beings according to their potentials, using expedience, okay? Skill and means. Meaning, for example, when we want to teach people, depending on whatever they can absorb, okay? For example, for a kid, we can only teach them, the kids so much. We cannot teach them about arithmetic, geometry, and so forth, okay? So we need to teach them things that they can understand, okay? So that's the same in Buddhism. Buddhism, the great teachers look at you like we look at our kids, okay? The great teachers look at us and say, well, there's so much you can get, so there's no point in forcing it down your throat, okay? So they gave us the provisional teaching, okay, in order to keep us in the loop, to get us going, and give us time and the proper environment in order for us to grow properly, okay? It's like like growing a tree. You need the proper knowledge on how to grow the tree to maximize its use, its potential, all right? So in Buddhism, when the Buddha started teaching Buddhism, okay, he taught the agama store, meaning when he first started teaching the human realm, he taught the sound hearer vehicle, meaning that he taught people how to become an arhat or practical Buddha. What is an arhat, practical Buddha? Why are they different from us? They're different from us because they no longer have a self. So the agama store, or the teaching, the first kind of teaching the Buddha bestowed to the human realm was the agama store, the agama teaching period. So in that period, for the, how long was that period? I forgot. 22 years, something like that, okay? So he taught everyone eventually how to get rid of your ego and experience emptiness, okay? Emptiness, in particular, emptiness of the self. There's no more self. If you experience emptiness of yourself, you can put an end to yourself, okay? Then you will no longer experience suffering. That's why it's important. Until you put an end to the self, to the ego, you will suffer. There's no two ways about it. As long as there is an I, as long as there is preoccupation for the me, you are suffering. Doesn't matter who you are. You could be a president. You could be a Democrat. You could be Einstein. You could be a guru, okay? As long as you still have a self, there's an I in there. I want this. I don't like this. Okay? Then you're suffering. So these arhats, these practical Buddhas, attain a certain kind of samadhi. Don't be fooled by this concept of arhat and practical Buddha. Basically, they develop this skill, the ability to empty themselves when necessary. When I first learned Buddhism, I was under the impression these arhats, once you become an arhat, you're dead because there's no more self. Right? If you have no more self, it sounds like you're dead because I have a self. I can't imagine myself not having a self. Okay? So, but it's not true. This is such a common misconception in Buddhism that no one could explain to me. That is, this lack of self here, again, basically, is just a state of samadhi, where you enter and you experience no more self. When you exit this samadhi, then the self comes back with full force. You're still greedy for flavors, you still want to play, you still want attention, and all those wonderful things of life, in life. Is it reassuring? More reassuring, isn't it? Okay, so for example, this lady here sees her father, okay, her 90-year-old father, she says, he has no self, but he looks so normal. Okay? He looks normal because he's not in samadhi. When he enters samadhi, he has no self whatsoever. You tell him I love you. He says, Because there's no one there who's being loved. Am I making sense? Okay, that's all. That's all there is to it. But all you have to do is take a pin and stick it in his fingers, and he's in pain. He comes out, ow, it hurts. Then they tell him, I love you. Then he gets it, 100%. You see that? That's a difference. That's how you learn to handle the arhats and the practical Buddhas. I start learning here from Go Forest. Okay? Remember today, when you see a fourth-stage arhat, don't be impressed, because they're supposed to be sages like this. The Chinese and the Vietnamese and the Thai and the Asian, they say, fourth-stage arhat, oh, they are the sages and so forth. Nah. Okay? You can catch them when they're so moral, just like the rest of us. Feels better? No? I'm destroying all the reverences that the Asians have on the arhats and the practical Buddhas. And the Asians put them on a pedestal, these are sages and so forth. No, they just have a little wisdom. That's all. Yes, question from Korea.
Hello.
We can hear you.
It is said that the arhats don't have to fall to the three evil paths anymore. Does that mean that the moment you die, if you're not in the state of the arhat samadhi, that means you still fall to the three evil paths?
You bet.
Oh no.
Did you get that? The scriptures say that if you're an arhat, you'll never fall into the hells. You never become a hungry ghost. You never become an animal next life. Never. You won't. It's true. That is, when you're in a state of arhat samadhi at the time of death, you will not fall. But at the time of death, you're scattered. At the time of death, let's say you're arhat, and at the time of death, you were drunk. It happens. Arhats get drunk. Do you know that? Of course they get drunk. You have a body. You put alcohol in your body, you're going to get drunk. I don't care who you are. Is that clear? So, in the scriptures, Buddhist scriptures, arhats get drunk. And then they look miserable. They look so pitiful themselves. They're totally helpless. That's a fact. So, let's say you're an arhat, you get drunk, and then someone kills you when you're drunk, you will fall. Questions?
Also get drunk and then fall if...
Huh?
Does the same apply to bodhisattvas?
Bodhisattvas? I don't know.
They have a body, they will get drunk and...
We'll find out soon. We have some bodhisattvas who are creating a lot of offenses. I can't wait for them to die. See what happens. Okay? All right. It's not I didn't mean I would wish them bad things to happen to them. Wei Mao.
On the same line, Master, for normal people, whether they cultivate or not, so at the moment of death, if they have a peaceful mind, will they fall to the evil realm? Let's say they did lots of bad things during their lifetime.
What do you ask? Why do you ask? Are you worried?
Oh, because somebody made a comment on that for cultivators. So my question is, does it apply for, like somebody say when you're a cultivator, and if you're peaceful at that, you won't fall. Now, what about for people who don't cultivate, like the Catholics? Well.
Yeah. Okay, let me give you a few more details, just in case I'm wrong, okay? These sages, people of wisdom, they may not have a clear mind when they die, but there's still a 49-day period where King Yama has 49 days to decide where you're going to go next. Okay, so there's a extensive period right there, and they can still recover. Okay, theoretically they can still recover. Okay, just to be clear. For normal people, on the other hand, normal people, let's say you're not enlightened and you are at a state of peace at the time of death. Okay, will you fall? Very highly possible that you fall, because even if you're peaceful at the time of death, there's still a 49-day period during which your past creditors can come and make a claim on you and will influence where you're going to go next. Okay? Yes, the short answer is yes, you can still fall. Okay? It's more complicated than that. And that's why in Buddhism, we still have the 49-day period here with our Buddhist wisdom is that we provide for things to aid you during this period so that we avoid bad things are happening to you. All right? All right, so going back to slide number 8, provisional teaching is that the Abhidharma, that's the highest level wisdom in the Arhata Pratyeka Buddha teachings, the Agama store teaching, Okay, that's called a provisional teaching because the teaching is not complete. It's only designed to hook you in, to interest you. For example, this is perfect, very, very suitable for intellectual and smart people, educated people. Love hinayana teachings because they're very logical. They're, the teaching the Buddha says, if it makes sense to you, makes sense to your logic, makes sense to your thinking, makes sense to your knowledge, follow it. If it doesn't make sense to you, then stop, back out. Okay, so the teaching is still based on your logic, into your thinking. Okay, however, it's not the ultimate teaching because there's lots of things in life that you cannot understand. Okay, in particular, if you are a student of a Chan, you learn to meditation. You learn the Mahayana meditation, Chan. When I use the word Chan, not Zen, not meditation, it refers to the Mahayana meditation. Okay, Chan meditation. With that type of training, it's called Mahayana because it's ultimate teaching, meaning that if you learn Chan, okay, in particular when you learn Chan, you learn to stop your thinking mind. Okay, when your thinking mind stops, which happens when you become a fourth stage arhat or higher, your thinking mind stops. Okay, that's when your true wisdom, your prajna wisdom, has a chance to come forth. Before that, below the fourth stage arhat, you really have no real wisdom whatsoever. Okay, so that's why in a Chan training, we train you in order for you to learn to stop your thinking mind so that your wisdom unfolds. In contrast, the Hinayana teaching, the Arhat's teaching, they dwell on your thinking process, they dwell on your logic, they dwell on your understanding. That's why it takes a lot longer to get there, so much longer. Like, incredibly longer to get there. As long as if we need to base the training on your thinking mind, okay, it takes a lot longer than in Chan meditation, where we, at the outset, we train you not to be so reliant upon your thinking mind, your discriminating mind, we say, okay? When you become less and less reliant on the discriminating mind, you progress a lot quicker, so much quicker, because those, the type of training Mahayana Chan is designed to help you stop your discriminating mind a lot quicker than the Hinayana training. All right? And the results speak for themselves. Because in Mahayana, we can reach fourth stage arhat like so much faster than Hinayana. It's no comparison. Okay? And that's why it's so detrimental for you to be so dependent, so reliant on your understanding, on your thinking. That's Hinayana, not Mahayana. Way Mountain.
Marina. Hello, Master. It's Sister Victorina.
Hello, sister.
I have a question about the leap from Hinayana to Mahayana. It seems like to me the big leap is having faith. If you don't have faith, you're really SOL, wouldn't you say? Or can you develop faith?
Hinayana and Mahayana is similar in the end goal. Okay? Hinayana also develops faith. Okay? However, the faith development is based on your thinking process. So, what do I mean by that? Because in Hinayana, when we teach you, in Hinayana, they train you and explain things to you as you make progress, okay? It's based on your understanding, and eventually you reach the point where you naturally can put an end to your thinking mind, okay, through this Buddhist meditation, Hinayana meditation. That's possible. You have, namely, for example, you have methods like metta meditation, vipassana. You have contemplation or impurity, 4 stations of mindfulness. All those things are designed to eventually put a stop to the thinking mind. And that's the end prize. Okay? However, in Mahayana, and when you put an end to the thinking mind, your faith will naturally come to the fore. Okay? So it's a longer and more elaborate way of developing faith without thinking. You depend on your faith. Once you become 4th stage Arhat, you have what others don't have, a deeper faith that's not dependent upon thinking anymore. You just believe. Versus if you're not your lower level, you believe because. Okay? You only believe because. Your thinking mind says, I believe because so, and so. Whereas in Mahayana, in a 4th stage Arhat or higher, you have faith because, there's no because. You have faith, period. All right? So it is also faith-based. However, in Mahayana, we develop faith a lot faster than Hinayana. That's all. So it's actually a similar process, requiring you to eventually develop faith. However, Mahayana is much more effective at developing faith than Hinayana. Okay? And the faith we're talking about is not based on your knowledge, not on your understanding. It's just there without thinking. Okay? And that's why typically engineers, typically lawyers, typically professors, typically smart people have a hard time with this. It's just, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay? Whereas, in contrast, women, especially women, okay, they develop faith a lot easier because they don't think it's, I believe you. They really don't believe, but they tell you anyway, I believe you. We all know that, right? Okay, but it makes it easier for them just to believe. Okay? Any complaints? Any problems? Any criticisms? I just slandered a whole bunch, half of humanity right there. Huh? Depending on which side of the equation you are, I said either insulted women or insulted men. Okay, go ahead, JMT.
Hello, I heard that Master mentioned about one of your disciples that's 4th stage Arhat, but she still left you. So when you said, oh, these Arhats have stronger faith, what would be the reason this person just left? Like she has a specific condition or something?
Well, I would like to think that it's really not totally my fault. Oh, never mind. I was being defensive. Excuse me. There's a self there clearly somewhere. You know, it's not my fault. It isn't. I swear to God. Why did she leave me? I don't know. It seems so long ago. My heart is still broken. Luckily, she's not the first fourth-stage arhat. Yes, the old abbot. We call him old monk just in case, because he won't die, no matter how sick he is. Yellow.
A Di Đà Phật, thời Đức Phật còn tại thế.
I think he looks more handsome today for some reason. Don't you think? Huh? You think so? He's like, ooh, look at me. Usually, I don't know, let me die, I want to die. Today, somehow he's happy. There's someone who's happy.
Con xin ngắt cái vấn đề này qua tại sao khỏe. Thì trước khi con đây khoảng 1 tháng đó, con quen một người chăm cứu rất là nổi tiếng. Thì con đi chăm cứu khoảng 1 tuần 2 lần. Thì mới chăm có 2 lần, 2 tuần tức là 4 lần rồi thì bị bác sĩ với cai sơn nó kêu back and forth về dưới thử máu, thử nước tiểu làm tùm lum hết. Tới bữa nay họ chưa có cho thêm một cái gì hết, chỉ có cho uống vitamin D 2 lần thôi. Mà gần như là cái bệnh con chữa là 80% rồi. Mấy ngày nay con không uống thuốc, kể cả thuốc tim và thuốc thận không uống. Khỏe cả 80%, cho nên tại vì con tin tưởng là thầy nói thôi để cho thầy chữa, cái ông chăm cứu chữa lâu quá. Thì rõ ràng là cả tuần nay con không uống thuốc và rất là khỏe. Đó là thứ nhất là tin vào cái pháp chữa của thầy. Đó là hết. Còn thứ hai là tại sao mà người A-la-hán bỏ vị bổn sư? Thì ngay cả Đức Phật Thích Ca Mâu Ni khi bắt đầu bỏ cái tiểu thừa, Đức Phật giảng cao hơn qua cái pháp đại thừa của kinh Pháp Hoa, thì 500 vị A-la-hán bỏ Đức Phật đi, không tin nữa, bỏ đi. Chúng tôi đủ rồi, chúng không tin. Phật nói không, mấy ông tạm thời quá thành thôi, mấy ông theo tôi dạy đại thừa để ông lên Phật, không tin bỏ đi. Muốn gì đời bây giờ? Mình xin chấm hết.
I went to see an acupuncturist, very famous. So I went to see him twice a week. So basically, I see him 2 weeks, which is like 4 times. But then after that, I have to go to see Kaiser with a lot of doctor appointments to do a lot of testing back and forth here and down south. So I don't have enough time to go back and see the acupuncturist. And then since then, like, even though I go to see the doctor, but they didn't really give me any treatment, basically just do testing. And then they give me the vitamin D. And until now, my illnesses decreased 80%. And I didn't really have to take any medicine, even the heart medicine, I don't have to take it. Because I believe that Master say that Master will cure my illnesses. We don't need to go to the acupuncturist anymore because it took that guy too long, and then that's how I have faith in Master. And the second issue I want to talk is like there is a person asking why a 4th stage arhat, the living Master. It's when the Buddha is still alive, and then he moved from the Hinayana teaching to teach them about Mahayana. When he started teaching the Lotus Sutra, 500 arhat were so shocked, and then they depart the Buddha. They abandoned the Buddha. They say, no, this is nonsense. I don't want to believe in it anymore.
I don't care about that. I still feel bad. Why she left me? She left me. It's so sad. And this, who asked this question again? Who was the question? Who asked the question? I forgot. What's her name again? And this is what happened, you see. I open my big mouth and say a lot of things, and then these people actually remember that I actually said things, and they catch me in the wrong moments. So, yes, I failed. Is that what you're trying to tell people? I failed. Tuan is smiling. And Lian, and Dieu Nga, and Nữ. Actually, it's a sad story. Yes, Dieu Nga, go ahead.
Con thấy mọi sự ở trên đời này chỉ là nhân duyên thôi. Còn duyên thì tụ, hết duyên thì tan. Con nghĩ đơn giản vậy.
World is based on the law of cause and condition. So if there is still a condition, then people gather together. If there's no more condition, then no more gathering. That's it.
But a broken heart is still a broken heart. Actually, a very sad story. So this referring probably, this person is probably who bring out, exposing the dirty laundry here, is actually referring to an ex-disciple of mine. She's a little bit older than the abbot. And she's my early companion, where she went everywhere with me, everywhere. Okay, I would drive. She would sit next to me and said, "What a bad driver! What a bad driver! Max, you see the way he drives?" And I said, "Yes, yes, yes, yes. Calm down, calm down." And it was happy times for me, if you ask me honestly. Because a monk's life is very lonely. And she abandoned her husband to hang around with me. Can you imagine? To the point the husband would call her and say something I couldn't understand. I couldn't hear what he said. But then she would say, "No, no, no, no. He's about our son's age. What are you talking about?" But anyway, she's was the love of my life. Anyway, she actually, her life story is pretty sad. She's at the age of 17, very happy at home. A sailor came around, fast-talking, sweet-talking sailor, and he knocked her up, okay? And her parents were so upset, okay? Old school, this is a long, long time ago where you don't make your parents lose face like this, okay? So they basically kicked her out of the house at the age of 17. Nowhere to turn to, nowhere to go, okay? So she ended up going to a home in the East Coast for expecting mothers. She stayed there. until she gave birth to her firstborn. Okay? And she's actually very, very brave. She never pressured that sailor. He never asked him anything. Okay? And to the point where the sailor is a very decent guy. He decided to marry her. Okay? That, the fast and sweet-talking sailor, they go to port, and then they move from port to port to port to port to port. Okay? This guy here is turned out to be a decent catch. He married her. He asked her to marry him. So she gave birth to her firstborn, and they struggle. They're so poor. They're so poor. They are too young, and so they struggled financially. On top of it, the father, her parents, took her husband to court for having sex with a minor. They wanted to put him in jail. Wouldn't listen to her. Okay? They wouldn't listen to her pleading to spare her husband. He said, he's a decent man, he married me, what else do you want? We were young. Give us a break. He said, nope, I'm going to put him in jail to punish him for destroying our family. Okay? So they were poor, they're struggling, and yet they had to pay these huge lawyer bills as well. And somehow they managed to win the court. Okay? They pleaded to a lot of people to write for him and speak on his behalf and so forth. And eventually, he didn't have to go to jail. Okay, so they earned a life together through hardship. Okay, the point here is that I want to listen to that story. I said, wow, that clearly is cause and effect. What cause and effect? The firstborn is there to destroy her life. She was very happy at home. He came to destroy that happiness. She was happy with the husband, the new husband. He's there to destroy their happiness. That immediately came to my mind. Okay? So later on, when she came to me, when she was in her 80s, because she had nothing else to do, she loved it, and she enjoyed being my sidekick and learning Buddhism. I would use early days when I was still with Chan Phong here. She came up here from Los Angeles every Saturday morning. Friday night, midnight, we get started. We drive to the car rental agency. I don't know if they're still around, Advantage Car Rental. I paid $20, okay, to get a car, another $20 to buy insurance. Can you imagine? $20 for just insurance to make sure it's covered from head to toe, from bumper to bumper, basically. And so we would rent a car, and she'd be my constant companion, never missed one. Okay, for 3 months. Okay, by the end of that period, she reached third stage Arhat in 3 months, and she's stuck there. Okay, and then one of my other disciples, who is a busybody, how can we have that? We can't have a third stage Arhat forever. Master would lose face. So she helped the old woman reach fourth stage Arhat to save my face. And she did. So that's why the old woman, hey, isn't that cool? We have old woman and an old man. That is to prove that old people are totally not useless. He does look handsome today for some reason. He's too distracting. Anyway, so she found happiness at the temple. Her husband died, and we helped him go to the Pure Land and so forth. Okay, very quickly, within days, and she was lost for about 9 months, a year, and then she said, "I'm going to live at the temple." So I gave her an apartment. We have 3 buildings. I gave her a 2-bedroom apartment. Well, basically, equivalent 2-bedroom apartment. And she stayed there, very happy. I said, "I want you to stay here, okay? And you pay the same rent as you were paying for 20 years in the same place without raising the rent being raised by the landlord. So I will honor that and give you the same rent. And I want you to have 2 bedrooms because your beloved son, your firstborn, is the closest to you. And he's stressed out. I want you to give him a room when he needs to recharge." He said, "Yes, thank you, Master." And we live pretty happily ever after. That's why I got so emotional. Until the son is a general contractor. And he was helping me fix the Blue Mountain Temple and the house that we bought where it has a 2-bedroom apartment there for her. And actually he cheated me out a lot of money. Okay, charged me, for example, for drywalls, $3,000-4,000 for drywalls, for drywalling a small area like this. I mean, the guy is something else. And I confronted him, and he basically lied through his teeth. And I was stupid when I was younger. When I first started, I said, his mother adores me. And the mother is so happy. She has a reason to live. Why would he try to cheat me and destroy her happiness? This is exactly what he wanted to do. And how scary it is, the karmic retribution. So she found a new life. She's extremely happy. We love each other, okay? Her and me, okay? She could walk over to my temple and talk to me anytime. And whenever I had to go anywhere, I say, "Hey, come, we go pick up a used fan," okay, on Craigslist. And we'd go together, okay? And she would criticize the other drivers. It's the same thing we do every day, okay? We were so happy together until the son came and said, Master's a bad guy, and so forth and so forth, and he has no more money. I can get more money out of him anyway. He didn't tell her that, and she started believing him. Before I was untouchable to her, okay? But he started talking to her and talking to her and talking to her. Eventually she says, "Master, you are, I'm not happy here," okay? And then, and I admit to you, I was wrong. I didn't treat her with compassion. It was my mistake. So I sent Master Hsien Tie there over to piss her off irrecoverably. And he did. Master Hsien Tie is very good at doing that. So she was so upset at me that they picked up everything okay, including my brand new fancy refrigerator that I bought for her. And left. And then he badmouthed the entire family, his siblings and so forth, and they all call me a bad monk and everything else. And what did they do? They put her in a retirement home. Fancy one, mind you, in Huntington Beach. Cost thousands of dollars every month. Her own apartment, everything. Didn't last long, okay? So that's the story. So she left me because I pushed her out, okay? With Master Xianjie's help. Shame on you. You should have stopped me. And my only excuse is that in my younger days, I was a lot more demanding than nowadays. Is that true? When she told me that when she believed her son over me, and it really made me upset. I said, you don't believe me anymore? What's the point? You might as well move out and live with your son. And that's when I sent Master Xianjie over to make it happen. And Master Xianjie excelled at doing that. So this is a sad story that tells you that it's scary that law of cause and effect. You see, my point is that the son, the firstborn, came to this world. He pursued her in order to destroy her life, to ruin her life, ruin her happiness, deliberately. Go figure, the mom is by herself. She tells her, I want to die here. I'm happy here. This is where I want to be the rest of my life, and so forth. I have a master I adore. He adores me, and so forth. And just because I cross him, or he crossed me, okay, he's bent upon pulling her away from her place. Doesn't care. Okay, it's sad, but if clearly in my excuse, it is clearly a case of cause and effect, meaning that she has to pay him. Okay, so. Even you are enlightened, even you are fourth stage Rahat, you still must pay your debts. No one is above that. Arhats, bodhisattvas, Buddhas, we all have to pay our debts. Period. And that's why we're here. We're here to pay our debts. That's why you have to keep on living to pay your debts. See, they come 20 of them. Next 5 years, 40 of them. And then pretty soon it'll be 100 of them. The longer you live, so that you can pay more debts. That's life. I don't feel like talking anymore. Can we end and go to the beach or somewhere? See, someone said, yeah, let's go to the beach, for this Avatamsaka thing here. All right. So that's experience. Okay? Yes, Way Mountain Temple.
Hello, I'm very curious. Did she ever went to the Pure Land?
She go to the Pure Land? I can't tell you. We're not in good terms right now. Why should I tell you? If I say yes, it means nothing to me. She abandoned me. Why should good things happen to the people who abandon me? If I say no, then maybe I'm bitter. So why do you ask? Don't you wish she goes to the heavens? What's the matter with you, Catholic? Okay, anyone else? So the arhats, going back to slide number 8, the arhats, the sound hearers, are taught expedient or taught provisional, the provisional teaching, in order to lead them to end the suffering by abolishing the self. Okay? That can be done. And therefore, the highest level of teaching in that realm is the Abhidharma. That's the Arhat's wisdom, the sound hearer's wisdom. In contrast, actual teaching, okay, is that if you make it through the provisional teaching, okay, then we prepare you. We also, in Mahayana, we teach you provisionally as well. We give you provisional teaching as well. Okay? And then, but at the same time, we prepare you to move on to actual teaching. Okay? So that's the difference between Mahayana and Hinayana. Hinayana, they reach Arhat and they stop because they're never told. They aren't prepared to go further. Mahayana, we look at Arhats and Pratyeka Buddhahood as just like a truck stop, a rest stop. A rest area. Is it rest stop? What's it called again? Rest area. Thank you. Okay. And so you rest temporarily, and you plan to move on. That's why it's called rest area. Okay. Same thing. For us, provisional teaching is like, hey, you drive along this way here until you reach a rest area. You go in there, you make a stop, and you take a break and so forth. But then keep going, okay? And that's Mahayana teaching. Whereas Hinayana, they say, you make it there, you made it, that's it. You can retire, you can do whatever you wish, okay? And so the actual teaching is actually the teaching that reveals your Buddha nature to you, okay? So it's just big kahunas, that's the big prize, if you will. All right? So the actual teaching refers to Mahayana teaching, where we teach you to go all the way, to go for the big prize. Okay? And some examples of such teachings, as you know, are Pure Land. You recite the Buddha's name, you go to the Western Bliss Pure Land, to the west. Which way is the west? And you become a Buddha there, okay? Flower adornment, what we're studying right now, is actually called the true teaching, actual teaching. Dharma flower, Shrangama Sutra, and so forth. They teach you about Buddhahood. They teach you about the ultimate wisdom. All right? It would help that you should give them fresh batteries. Okay, instead of giving them, let the batteries run out. Part of your jobs, by the way, is to make sure the equipment works properly. If they're on batteries, give them fresh batteries. Charge them every time. I don't care if it shortens the cycles, doesn't matter. We give them fresh batteries. Is that clear? I think it's professionally, that's what expected of us. All right. And so this actual teaching actually guides you to go from the branch tips back to the roots, okay? Meaning that's the Chinese way, style of talk, saying that whatever we teach you provisionally is the branch tips, what you observe out there, okay? Whatever your world is, it basically is like you're observing only exterior foliage, okay? That's just outside, okay? And the teaching will bring you back to your trunk, to your roots, okay? Where everything originates from. That's the heart of the matter, okay? So that's why these teachings about this Avatamsaka Sutra is actually first describes the branch tips, okay, the outside, but then it connects you eventually to the inner core of your Buddha nature. Questions? Okay? So this teaching goes all the way, not like a temporary or provisional teaching like in the sound hearers. Slide number 9. And because this teaching here is also designed to help you deal with the obstructions from your proper and dependent retributions. Okay? More important concepts, okay, that you need to know. Concept is proper retribution and dependent retribution. All right? The proper retribution refers to the body, your body that you get right now. They are called, your bodies are called the proper retributions. They are the end result. They arise from your past deeds, your past karmas, whether it's good or bad. So far, so good? Okay, for example, you've been to China or Asia where you see you encounter these fortune tellers, the great fortune tellers on the streets. Huh, Ray? Rings a bell? You guys don't do it in your generation. Huh? My generation, we go to the market and look for the fortune tellers. Okay. And the great fortune tellers, how can you tell? They're blind. Thank you, Chinese girl. They're blind. You can tell a real fortune teller if you want to come across a fortune teller, you wear your dark glasses. Fortune teller, fortune teller. Okay, and then because the great fortune tellers are blind. Okay, it's because in the past they also were telling fortunes as well. You know that? So that's why they're great, because they're very experienced, they're very good. They have a track record of telling your future and so forth, okay? So well. So that's why once you become a good fortune teller, next lifetime you probably end up being blind. And then you become even better at telling fortunes. And next lifetime you become more blind than before. You see that? And that's the nature of fortune telling, by the way. Now you know the secret. Okay? Don't go to the people who can see. Okay? Go to the blind fortune tellers. That's a tip I'm giving you today that you can use right away. And so that's why one of my early disciples, she said, I want you to tell my fortunes. I told her, you can't afford it, girl. For me to go blind, you have to pay a lot. She didn't get it, but anyway, I just simply told her, you can't afford it, ma'am. Way mountain.
I have a quick question. In Catholicism, that would be like if you go to a fortune teller, that would be considered a sin. So I was wondering if Buddhism has something similar to it.
Translation. What happened to the sound? Repeat the question, please. It looks like my translator is taking a break. He also abandoned me too.
My question is that in Catholicism, if you go to fortune tellers, that would be considered a sin. But I was wondering if Buddhism has something similar or there's any consequences.
No, no consequences whatsoever. Because fortune tellers is words. What's the big deal? You can tell anything you want. I can tell you fortunes too, you like. Okay? I would tell the kind of fortune that will not make me blind. Okay? It's no big deal. Come on, grow up, guy. What's the big deal? So that's the proper retribution. I just gave you a funny example of proper retribution because you tell good fortunes, you become blind. That's you in the future. Your proper retribution, meaning your body is a result of the past actions, past karmas. You tell good fortunes, you have no eyes. I mean, the eyes don't work that well. Okay? And so I don't know about people wearing eyeglasses. No? Maybe we told reasonably good fortunes? We don't know, okay? All right. So that's a body, proper retribution, okay? Meaning it pertains to you. Dependent retribution is the external things we depend on, like a house, like a car, like money, like a wife. Okay? Those are external dependencies. Okay? Like a country, like ICBMs. Okay? Like COVID-19. Those are dependent retributions. So far, so good? So those are the two types of retributions we incur. And so we learn this Dharma here in order to better handle our retributions. Okay? For example, when we're blind, how we can handle our proper retribution. We open our spiritual eyes to make up for it. Okay? That's one example. What about dependent retribution? Okay? What can you do? You learn about Avatamsaka Sutra in order that become smarter and make more money, buy more bitcoins, cryptocurrencies. That works for me. Anyone? How about, I don't know. Okay, so Buddhism is actually, to me, is very practical. Buddhism is here because it's supposed to help us handle the obstructions arising from our dependent retributions and our proper retributions. So far, so good? All right. Something I understand, and most people can understand. Okay? Instead of talking about big things, I thought I'd throw in a few low-level things just to placate you and wake you up. Okay? Some of the retributions, okay, from Buddhism, these are common knowledge, by the way. So I don't want you to be impressed by people and say, what you say? When you tell lies, what are retribution in the future? Okay? Number one, in the future, you'll be often slandered. Future here could be this lifetime or next lifetimes, okay? If you are severe, it might happen this lifetime, okay? But because of your lies, in the future, you'll be often slandered. And you're often lied to. All right? What's the difference between slandered and lied to? Slandered is not to your face. Lied to is to your face. So whether it's to your face or behind you, there will be lies. Is that clear? I try to simplify it for you so that it's easier to understand. Okay? So when you tell lies, your world is full of lies. In front of you or behind you. So far, so good. So don't lie. You hear? Okay, number two, deviant views. Okay, you have deviant views, meaning you don't believe in cause and effect. You say, nah, it's okay. I do something bad, nothing bad's going to happen to me because I'm too smart. I will be able to overcome it. Anything that bad happens to me, I will work around it. It's not a problem for me. I'm too smart. Okay? No one's going to catch up with me. Okay? And so, because you said, so it's okay for you to create bad karmas. All right. So, when you have deviant views, you don't believe in cause and effect. You'll be born into deviant views family. Meaning what? That mommy and daddy have deviant views. Okay? Meaning mommy and daddy gives you deviant views. It means mommy and daddy help you develop deviant views. So far, so good? Okay? So you'll be trained to develop deviant views. Okay? And furthermore, you not only will you have deviant views, but your mind is crooked and would tend to flatter people. Know anyone like that? I hang around with wrong people, clearly. Professor, you don't know any students like that in your neck of the woods?
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Well, thanks a lot. Not so loud. Okay, never mind, let's move on. Double tongue. Double tongue is that he says one thing to A, saying something else to B, to cause A and B to have a fight. Okay, that's called double tongue, to create disharmony, create infighting. So far, so good? All right? When you do double tongue, yes, Way Mountain Temple.
What if you do double tongue to, instead of cause disharmony, to cause harmony?
To cause discord.
No, you double tongue, so you tell one person one thing, and then you tell one person the other one person someone else, so that they're not mad at each other. Because if you told them the truth, they would be mad at each other.
Then it's not called double tongue. It's called lying. It's not good either. Stop it. Any other questions? So he's more worried about double tongue when the retribution for lies are even worse than double tongue. Okay? Cut it out. You hear? All right, double tongue. Then your people, the people who surround you, the people who follow you are engaged in fraud and they're evil. And I will refrain from making a connection to any political figure. When you know who I'm talking about. Okay? Is it clear? It's a clear example right there. Okay? Right there. It's scary. Yeah. And number two, your retinue, the people that follow you, your inner circles, the people you group, is unharmonious. Because you created discord among other people's retinues. Your retribution is your own retinue will be unharmonious. Is that clear? So you go back to the political figure I don't want to mention by name. You know his retinue has a lot of infighting, backstabbing. Number 4, stealing. Okay, when you steal, you deprive others from their dependent retributions. Right? And because of that, in the future, you'll be poor and destitute. Make sense? Right? It's just common sense, right? You steal things that others have and need, okay? Then in the future, you'll be poor and destitute. And number 2, you cannot be at ease. Why not? Have anyone ever lost a wallet? Anyone? I would check my pocket at least 20 times a day since I last lost my wallet a couple months ago. I would sit there and involuntarily I would reach in. Oh, it's still there. Okay, must be from my stealing karmas. I lost my wallet and lost $75. Let me tell you, destroyed my life because I had to call the credit bureaus and did self-destruct. I destroyed everything I have, credit cards, and credit cards and credit cards. I was traumatized. I still am. Okay? So don't steal. I promise myself not to steal anymore. Okay? Because you cannot be at ease. Because you're so afraid that someone will steal from you. You know they're going to steal from you. Okay? That's the way it is. And it's no peace of mind, let me tell you. No matter how many great compassion repentances, it still hasn't helped. Okay, next. Killing. Okay, when you kill, okay, you'll be short-lived. Okay, all the sicknesses, you're sickly. See, sickly people, short lives. All right, killing karmas. If you're sick, you have a lot of sicknesses, lots of killing karmas. All right. Next, lust. Your spouse will be unfaithful, and retinue could not be the same color skin as yours. This is borrowed from the last royal tiff, You remember Prince, anyone read People magazine? Excuse me. You know, one of the princesses says, you marry this colored lady. You know, what if your son is also colored? Okay? That's an example of the retinue not being as desired. I'm kidding. God, you guys are too serious. Tao is not even smiling. He's like, oh, yeah. Master would talk about anything and everything. Yeah, we do. We gossip. When you're greedy, what are your retribution? Many desires, meaning is referring to you. You are so greedy for this and that. It's non-stop. You're unsatiated. Okay? Bottomless greed. No matter how much money you make from cryptocurrencies, you're still greedy for more. And I cite Mr. Buffett. Think about it. The guy is so rich. He's like, how old is he? 90 or 100 years old, right? He's still trying to make more money. When is enough enough? Think about it. He just makes money and makes more money and makes more money. And that's my purpose in life, he says. Make money. I wish I had this money. I would be retired. I say sayonara to all of you. Yeah, I love you and everything, but I'm going to retire. I don't care. So clearly, some people who invest in cryptocurrencies haven't made enough yet. Okay. So it's a form of self-torture, you mind, if you will. That is, no matter what you have, no matter wonderful thing life is, you still are not happy. That's a horrible, horrible thing to happen to yourself. Why? Think about it. You have a loving wife. You have good children. And you say, no, I want more and more and more and more. You can't even see what you have that's so great that you need to nurture, you need to enjoy. But no, he said, no, I want more success, I want more recognition, I want more and more and more. Okay? Too greedy. Okay, let me try to finish it. Slide number 11. You use coarse words. I don't want my sister to scold me. She's trying to teach me how to pronounce sword properly. And I find coarse words. Never mind. Coarse words and scolding. You often do that? Anyone? You often hear evil sounds. And you constantly fight and sue. Guilty! I'm only admitting it because my Korean disciple just destroyed my reputation. A fourth stage aha disciple of mine left me for good causes. What else is left? Meaningless words. 给语 in Chinese. So others will not trust you in the future, and you cannot explain yourself. Yeah. Okay, Sinan, what did you learn the past couple of months? Red. See, cannot express herself. You know what you have to work on when you go back to Korea? No more bad words. Get it? Okay? Okay. Finally, anger. Anger. So in the future, you're always seeking to discover others' strengths and weaknesses. Okay? Anyone? Finally, one honest soul out there. And number two, always try to afflict and harm others. So, shall we go back to these two slides about retributions? Food for thought, huh? Whatever happens to us is because of these past causes. So stop blaming others. Okay? We did it to ourselves. Too greedy right now. And if you don't change, okay, next lifetime, you carry the same habit energies over, and it gets worse and worse, like those fortune tellers. They get better, and they get blinder and blinder. Okay? All right, that's all I have for you today. And next time, thank you for coming. Next time we do slide number 12. Okay, reverse transference.